Welcome to 5% Radio, where it's all about learning like no one else today so you can live like no one else tomorrow. Please be sure to share and subscribe. What is up, 5%ers, and welcome back to another episode of the 5% Radio podcast. In today's episode number 51, I want to talk to you about something that kind of piggybacks off of the last episode and a concept that I may have kind of briefly mentioned in passing throughout the show up to this point. But Jack Canfield said this about this subject. He said, "You only have control over three things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take." I want to talk to you about the winner and the loser that's inside every single person listening to this podcast right now. Now, that may come off harsh, like, dude, you just called me a loser. Excuse you? Like, I thought this was supposed to be positive, make me feel better. It is. But every single one of us does have a good side and a bad side when it comes to moving us forward towards our success and our goals. And there's an old apocryphal story, just fake made up story about this old guy sitting on a porch, and there's someone walking up to his house, and there's two dogs, and they're fighting all the time. And every single time this guy goes over there, these dogs are fighting. He's like, "Excuse me, sir. I see that your dogs fight a lot. Which one of them wins? Like, which one of them usually wins?" The old guy just looks at him, just playing his day, totally chill, laid back, and he's like, "Depends on which one I feed more." And your success journey, you reaching your goals, you living in the 95% or the 5% is the exact same way. Which you are you feeding more? Are you feeding the 5%, the 1% thinker? Are you feeding the person who's actually doing the things that it takes, the consistently productive daily habits, the person who's focusing on long-term goals with short-term focus on exactly what it's going to take and the overall big vision of this is where I want to go in life? I've got short-term goals, long-term vision, delayed gratification. Are you focusing on that? The person who's looking at the power of compounding, what I do every single day adds up to what I get tomorrow, the understanding of cause and effect, the reap what I sow. If I do it today, I'm going to get the result. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but it will show up somewhere in the future. Are you focusing on growing and feeding that person? Or are you focusing on the person who says, you know what? I can take the easy way out today. Like, life won't get harder tomorrow if I take the easy way out today. You know what? I want to eat that food now. I want to spend the money that I don't have now. I want to finance the thing now. I want to move into the dream home now. We really can't afford it. I want the car now. I want this now. I want everything now. I'm not willing to sacrifice. There are two different people inside you, just like there's a skinny person. We talk about this in the health world. There's a skinny person and a fat kid inside every single person. Inside me, every single day. There's days that I eat super healthy, and there's other days where I'm like, you know what? I would really like to have a tub of ice cream tonight after I share a pizza with me, I, and myself, and down 2 bags of potato chips, and that sounds like it'd be awesome. Oh, and maybe like 3 sleeves of Oreos. Like, there's two people inside you at all times. And it's funny because there's also a dumb person and a smart person, meaning, have you ever seen, I was listening to a guy give a talk, and it's worth roughly $100 million. New York Times bestselling author, many times over, has owned a lot of very successful businesses. I mean, the kind of guy that has had a lot of, like, oh, I made a poor investment. Like, that cost me 7 figures to sign that. Like, I mean, oh, well, keep going. Like, just, the guy's worth a lot. And one of the things he talked about was his dream home was being built. Like multi-million dollar, he bought the land, drew out the blueprints, every single night he'd come home from working on stuff in his business, and he would just dream on exactly what this house was going to be like. And he laid it out. This is so cool. The guy laid out his house in order of how he started his days. So, okay, I wake up, I immediately go get, I hit the restroom, I wash my face, then I go grab coffee, then I go read, then I go do this. So he actually laid out, the very layout of his house, the blueprints, the way it was built, is so that his day went sequentially based on how his house was set up based on how his day went, is what I'm trying to say. So if he got up and immediately went to the bathroom, guess what was right outside the bathroom? If he hit the restroom and then he went and grabbed coffee, boom, there was a room where he could make coffee. Not on the first floor, on the second floor, there was a room that was basically like a small kitchen where he could go get his coffee immediately. If the next thing he did was reading, then the next room over was set up for, boom, that was his library. If the next thing he did after that was go work out, so he actually said, so anyway, he's got enough money that he built, the percentage of people that actually, I think it was either 5 or 13% of any millionaires ever actually build a fully custom house. Like most of them buy. It just makes more sense financially. So anyway, dude's super well off, has done amazing, was offered to go overseas and work for a major company as a senior engineer when he was pretty much just still a kid. Did all this amazing stuff in his life. And he is on his snowmobile and he ends up sinking it in a lake that had really thin ice. So he took a picture on his phone with the sinking snowmobile in the forefront, and in the background was this beautiful multi-million-dollar home being built to remind himself that the same guy that accomplished the multi-million-dollar house, and he was paying cash for it, by the way, there was no loan, it was just coming out of his pocket. The same dude that accomplished that also just sunk this snowmobile in the lake on thin ice in the mud when he should have known. So there's a dumb person and a smart person, a skinny person and a fat person, a rich person and a poor person, a successful person and an unsuccessful person in every single one of us. And it all comes down to which one you're going to feed and which one you're going to starve. So I know I've talked about read, listen, associate in the past. I want to take a little bit different bent on that. And I want to talk about really getting down to the nitty gritty. What does it look like to actually be mindful of the people I associate with, the media that I take in, and my repetitive thought life? Because I've touched on thinking and I've touched on how to direct it. And I've talked about that heavily in episode 1. And I've talked about, the people you associate with, you might have to cut some people out. And I've talked about the things you watch and what you ingest and everything you put into your head. And I've talked about upstream and downstream, but let's really deep dive on each one of these and actually get into what does this look like to properly apply this and make sure I'm starving the loser and feeding the winner every single day. People you associate with. How do I actually know if they're the right people that I should be associating with? And let me caveat everything I'm about to say with, I don't want you to go cut out all your friends, text people. I've received the we're not friends anymore text. Don't do that. It's a bummer. Sit down with the people if you need to, and just hey, if you could avoid such and such, if we could maybe not, if they're that close of a friend, then they might be willing to do that. But more than likely, you're not going to have to sit down with them. It'll just either you'll produce a gap where the friendship will just not be as tight. It's not an intentional thing, but if you grow and they don't, things become weird. If I have a training partner in the gym, I lose all my body fat that I had a goal to lose. I get down to 7%, and I'm absolutely diced, and I'm getting stronger every workout. My conditioning's up. Now I've gone from running a mile in 14 minutes to a mile in 9 minutes to a mile in 7 to, every single day I go to the gym and I hit a mile in 5 minutes and 50 seconds, and then whenever we go lift, I'm just smoking this guy. Eventually, that guy's probably not going to be my training partner much longer because I've just outgrown where he's at. It's not because I like him any less, but he's holding me back from where I should be. And it's just going to eventually get to the point where he's sick of being around me, not in the negative way, but he's like, dude, you're making me feel bad about the crappy choices that I'm making in my own life. I don't want to be around that all the time. How many of you have been around someone who was a great, amazing example, and there were other people trying to tear them down, and you knew the people that were trying to tear them down were not trying to live up to the same level that they were? So it wasn't actually an issue with the person that was doing something awesome. The issue was with the person that was doing nothing in their life, and they wanted to take it out on the fact that this guy actually wanted to achieve something. So people you associate with, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Number 1, are they ambitious? Are they ambitious? Do they have goals? Do they want to go somewhere? Do they have dreams? Are they hard workers? Are there things in their life that matter to them that they are striving for? That's number 1. Are they ambitious? Because if you're going to be a 5%er, if you're going to be a 1%er, if you're going to achieve financial freedom, if you're going to have the life of your dreams, the finances, the health, the marriage, if you're going to have those things, you're going to have to go the opposite direction of the crowd. And most people, about 95% of the people that you spend time around are 95%ers. Here's the 95% law or rule. There's a 95% chance that 95% of what you know was taught to you by 95%ers. And you can take that another way. There's a 95% chance that 95% of the people you know have 95% financial results. There's a 95% chance that 95% of the people you know have a 95% marriage. Like, you can take this any way you want to, but there's only 5 out of 100 people that actually have what you want in this area. And chances are it's not all the people you spend most of your time with. So are they ambitious? Number 2, are they forward focused? Are they reliving old memories constantly in the glory days? Like, did this person peak in high school or college? Are they still talking about, man, that one time, like, we were at that party and such happened? Man, you remember that? Like, that was awesome. Like, is it that guy? Or does he still have something that he's striving for in his life? Because, like, when you talk to a kid, they never talk about, hey, dad, hey, mom, remember that one time 7 years ago? Like, they don't talk about that unless it was some, like, amazing memory where you took them to, like, Atlantis, the water park, I think it's the Bahamas. Like, if you took them there, yeah, they might talk about it. If the first day they rode their bike also happened to be the first day that they met their best friend, they might still talk about it. But little kids don't, like, relive the past. Like, you're not going to meet some 10-year-old and he, like, peaked when he was 6. Like, oh man, those were the best. I'm just picturing this 10-year-old, like, peaked when he was 6 years old, talking about it like it's high school when he's 50. Like, you're not going to meet the kid because they're always looking forward. They're always looking forward. Like, they always want what's next. When you talk to a 2-year-old, if they can talk to you, like, oh, how old are you now? They're like 2, and then they tell you, like, how many months, if they know. You talk to a 5-year-old, though, for sure. I talked to a little girl just the other day. I was at the library. I was playing with my kid, and really, I was kind of watching him play. I do play with him, but, like, that's usually at home, not like at the library in the play set, like, woohoo. But so I'm although I probably could fit. I'm 5'3". So I'm at the library, and I'm watching my little guy play, and this little girl's there. Her name is Chloe. Never met her before. Have no clue who she is. And little kids, they talk to anyone. They're like outgoing adults. And she's like asking, where's his mommy and all this other stuff. And, mom had stayed at home, and it was just Eli and I hanging out for maybe 30 minutes. Like, we weren't gone very long. Just, hey, we're going to go run some errands. And just him and I went. And went to the library, and, her and I are just talking. And, like, you talk to little kids, like, talk about them. Same thing with adults. So I'm like, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 4. And then, like, immediately, like, didn't miss a beat, barely even took a breath. She's like, but next year I'll be 5. And then after that, I'll be 6. And what's she doing? She's looking forward. And then she got into a conversation how she doesn't remember when she was in diapers and this and that. And, like, oh, I can't believe he still poops his pants. Like, and she's like, oh, I'm such a big girl. Like, next year I'll be 6. The year after that, so she's looking forward. So are you around people that peaked a decade ago? They're like, oh, dude, back in high school, like, man, I'd love to go back to, man, college. Those were the days. Like, if so, it's probably not a person who's looking forward in their life. Do they have a victim mentality? Do they have a victim mindset, or do they have the mindset that of an overcomer? Someone who's victorious. They can be a victim. Oh, look how bad it is. It's not my fault. I can't do anything about it. Do they have that mindset? Are they powerless? Do they suck the life out of you when you're around them? Because no matter what you try to do, they're like, oh, no, I know it helped that one person, but it wouldn't help me because they don't know my circumstances. Like, is that them, or are they an overcomer? Are they a this will not beat me kind of person? Like, yeah, man, I know it's bad right now. Yeah, I know this. I know this is rough. I know we've never faced anything this bad before. But we're going to overcome it. We're going to be stronger on the other side. There's lessons here to learn. Like, I know that I've got goals. We might not hit them the exact date we want to, but I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop for anything. Like, I will not let my limitations hold me back. Like, I will get. Are they that kind of person, or do they have a victim mentality? They want to talk about, man. Let me tell you how bad it is. Do they want to ingest? I'm going into this in just a second, but do they want to ingest media and share thoughts with you that are going to hold you back? Do they think in terms of fixed or growth? There's a book by Dr. Carol Dweck, and it's called Mindset. Like, that's the title of it. Just Mindset, M-I-N-D-S-E-T, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. And one of the things she talks about is the growth versus the fixed mindset. And what that means is it's really just, okay, either this is the way things are, chips fall where they may, and you can't change it, or the growth mindset says there's always room for improvement, and if I'm willing to work my butt off and focus on actually getting better, then I can improve anything. Which mindset do they have? Are things just, that's just the way things are? Are they that person? Or are they like, you know what? This sucks right now, but I know that if I'm willing to work hard enough, that I can change anything. Do they have the marriage, the relationship with their kids, the parenting, the finances, the health, the schedule, the peace, the mindset, the level of success? Do they have those things? Because if you hang out with dogs long enough, you catch fleas. If you hang out with dreamers long enough, you catch dreams. If you hang out with losers long enough, their numbers usually increase by 1. If you hang out with people that just want to be idiots all the time, they want to get in trouble, they want to break stuff, like, that's probably going to become you. There's a guy that was talking about, his mom was pretty much trying to get this concept across to him, and she said, Rob, if you hang out with bank robbers long enough, eventually you'll end up driving the getaway car. Like, trying to get him to understand, like, you can't hang out with, the Bible talks about good company corrupts bad morals. Evil communications corrupt good morals. Like, people that you hang out with have an effect on you. If I've got grease just caked all over me and I walk up and shake your hand, you can't be like, oh no, my skin is so clean that none of that will even get on me. Like, that's how your mind is. Like, stuff rubs off on you. I heard one guy, it's actually the writer of the book. I'm thinking about it right now. I can see the book. It's on my shelf. The Slight Edge. It's the writer of the book, The Slight Edge. And it's Jeff Olson, actually, is the author. And he talked about, he's so fanatical. It's a super long pause thinking about the book, but he's so fanatical about this. If he walks up to a conversation and it's negative and it's draining him, like positively speaking, if he can't turn it in 10 seconds, if he can't turn and change the conversation within 10 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4, like 10 seconds. If he can't turn it, he finds a reason to excuse himself and he's gone. 10 seconds. If he can't turn it, he walks away. That's how fanatical he is about his mindset. That's how fanatical you need to be if you want to feed the winner and starve the loser every single day. Do these people encourage your dreams? Do they encourage the fact that you have goals, that you have places that you want to go? Or do they talk to you about how no one from here has ever done that? Do they talk about, oh, there's, man, if I was going to believe it for anyone, I believe it for you, but I don't want you to get your hopes up. Like, are they those kind of people? Or do they encourage you? Like, you know what, man? You can do whatever you want to do. I believe in you. Man, I'm going to be here 100%. If there's anything I can do to help you, like, are they that person? Or are they the person who's jealous because you actually want to go somewhere that they've never even thought about? Who are they? Lastly, do they feed the winner or the loser? Do you feel better when you're around them? Do you leave their house? Do you leave hanging out with them feeling like, man, like I know that I can do this now? Or do you leave there feeling like, you know what? I don't know. I mean, like, mediocrity's not that bad. Seems like Joe has it pretty good. Seems like John has it pretty good. Seems like, it seems like Sally's happy. I mean, like, she's happy. She watches 4 hours of TV a day, but like, and if, I apologize if you're offended about the jokes that I make about watching 4 hours of TV a day and living in mediocrity, but like, that's not a thing that's going to give you the results you want. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm here to tell you the truth. That's not a thing that is going to give you the results you want in your life. Watching TV. No one ever got rich or better marriage or anything else by watching TV. You can, oh, well, I watch Dr. Phil. No, like, no one ever improved their lives vastly in areas that were truly important to them by watching television, ever. Unless it was like HGTV and you're like, oh, that's a great idea for a kitchen remodel. Maybe that, even that though, you probably could have done it some more efficient way. So the people you associate with, think about those things. Next is your media, the videos, news feeds, social media, music, the articles that you read, the things that you ingest. I want you to ask yourself this. You got to be fanatical about this if you really want to move forward. See, I'm getting to a place where I was extremely, like, I was nuts about this when I started writing my mindset book, which I had to put on pause. I had a bunch of other projects, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to finish this, but there's some other things that I need to finish. There's some success that I still need to achieve before I'm going to write anything. Like, I'm not going to be the guy that got rich off writing a book, and then he writes about how he got successful. That disgusts me. Like, oh, what did this guy do? And you dig back and you're like, oh, he did nothing before he wrote a best-selling book. And then now he's like, yes, I know exactly how to succeed. And he writes books on success and like, blah, like that's disgusting. Do something with your life worth writing about and then write a book. Don't write a book to become a person that other people are like, oh, wow, now he's successful. It drives me crazy. So anyway, I put a pause on writing this book, but at the time that I was beginning to write this book, I was hands down the most fanatical that I've ever been in my life about getting my mindset right every single day. So I want you to ask yourself this about the content that you ingest. I'm just going to put a blanket on this. It's all under the umbrella of media, meaning I listen to it, I watch it, I read it. That's media. Is this content reinforcing my values, or is it in direct opposition to it? What do you mean reinforcing my values? Is it pulling you closer to what you want in your values, in your home, in your morals? Is it virtuous? Paul, the Apostle Paul in the Bible, talked about in Philippians 4:8, finally, brothers. And he lists all these things, whatever's lovely, whatever's noble, whatever's he lists all these things, whatever is true. And he talks about think on these things. In other words, all of this stuff that's good, that's going to grow you in your walk with Christ, that's going to keep you on track, that's going to help you live at peace with people that you're like, he listed out all these things, and then he said, think on these things. In other words, stop spending time on the stuff that's pulling you down. If you want to take it into this application, think on stuff, focus on stuff, feed yourself stuff that is going to help you move forward, not pull you backwards. So if I watch content and I look at videos and images and I listen to things and I read articles, if I put stuff in that's going to pull me backwards, and then I think I'm going to just feed myself in another area, so I feed the loser over here and I feed the winner over here, and I'm like, I'll still move forward. No. It didn't just balance out. Now I have to get the junk that I ingested out of my head and replace it with the good content. I don't just get rejection and then I get told no in sales and then I get one yes and I'm like, oh, they balanced out. They might not, depending on where you're at in your mindset. You've got to be careful about this stuff. Is it bringing me closer or further away from my ideals? Meaning the vision that I have for my life. Is this going to bring me closer or further away from that by ingesting this? Is the person who's winning in the area that I want to win in, are they watching this kind of stuff? Are they reading these articles? Do they have the news on in their house 4 hours a day? Are they doing movie night and following 3 different TV shows, listening to 6 podcasts about true crime, reading articles online, and also catching up on the latest mystery novel, the thriller, the murder mystery, Dean Koontz book? Are they doing all that? Probably not. Probably not, let's be honest. Is it bringing me closer or further away from my ideals? Next one, number 3, under your media. Does this content reinforce mediocrity? Ooh, this one's tough. Does it reinforce mediocrity and make living average look appealing? Or does it make striving for excellence and greatness look appealing? Really, what is it suggesting is ideal to you? What is it making you want? If I'm a married man, so this is a great analogy. If I'm constantly viewing and ingesting content and watching stuff that makes me want to be unfaithful to my spouse, and people do this all the time. They'll just watch garbage. They watch movies that have garbage in them. Their news feed's full of garbage. They search out garbage. They do this kind of stuff all the time, and then they're like, oh no, yeah, it's not going to affect my marriage. There's a client I'm thinking of right now, early on in my marketing agency career, and I could not actually figure out how to get access to this dude's Facebook account. Could not figure it out. I was just incompetent. He was, I think, my first or second client. And finally, I was like, you know what? Just going to see if I can get his login. We're friends, we trust each other. So I got his login, and literally almost all of his newsfeed, 90%, and he's married. Married, has kids, seemed like a pretty, upright dude, right? 90% of his newsfeed was, garbage. I had to log in and go straight to his ads manager. I couldn't even scroll in his newsfeed. It was trash. Stuff that I don't even want people to know that I scrolled by it, let alone that it was an accident. It was just trash. And the dude's married. And I'm like, okay. Well, Jesse, don't judge the guy. Look, if you want to have a good marriage, there's things you do and there's things you don't do. So if I want to be successful, if I want to win in this area, am I feeding the loser? I got a fat loser over here mentally that I've fed all this garbage. And I'm like, no. It's not going to affect me. Does it reinforce the things that I want? Or is it making something else, living a lesser life, not being ambitious, not having goals, watching tons of TV, living an average life, working 100,000 hours and dying broke, does it make that look appealing? Like if I'm watching All in the Family with Archie Bunker, I'm like, all right, he gets off work, he comes home, he sits down, he yells at Eat It. If you've never seen that show, it is a funny show. I haven't watched it in almost a decade, but like, man, if that looks appealing to you, getting off work and just sitting in your chair and just living an average life, if you're watching Archie Bunker and The Simpsons and you're like, man, this is exactly what I do. Like that's a problem. Ouch. I'm sorry. Like it is. How is this, next question, how is this making me feel overall? This one was big for me when I first really started getting into mindset. And here's actually what happened. So I started listening to a lot of really angry music at the gym. It wasn't vulgar, it wasn't nasty, it wasn't like I'm going to kill people and, like, it wasn't any of that kind of stuff. But it was angry. Like it was just flat out angry music. And I was just in a season where I was lifting stupid heavy weight, and then all my accessory work was as heavy as possible for as many reps as I could pump out pretty much. Like, so I would do, so I weigh 160, and at that time I think I weighed $173, and so I was benching 225 for 12, and I was doing like, everything was just stupid heavy. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing bent over rows. I'm going to throw on like 185 and see if I can bang out like a set of 25. If it's like my top, as many reps as possible set, like everything was just like going to the gym, kill yourself and leave. And then I would sleep like 9 hours a night, take a nap, drink a gallon of water, eat as much food as I possibly could. I was on a bunch of different supplements to help me recover. Like I was trying as hard as I could at all costs to get as strong as I could, as fast as I could. And I would go to the gym and I would listen to this really angry music. I'm thinking a lot of the songs right now. And like, there's songs that I enjoy, like I'll throw them on if I'm doing like a 1 rep max and I'll have it on for like 30 seconds. But like, it's not a song that I go listen to and I listen to it day after day after day. Like it's not music that I do that to anymore, because guess what would happen? I was early on in my marriage and my wife and I were learning how to communicate. And like, when you first get married, if you don't fight, then you don't talk. Like, honestly, if your first year is great, awesome, your second year might not be. If your first year was rough, like we had a really rough, like 6 months. After that, it was really easy. Like we argued so much that we're like, okay, we got to learn something else. I've got to go fix me. You worry about you. I'll worry about me. We'll fix this. And like, we came back together and like, we didn't ever split up, but like we learned how to communicate. But in that season, I'd go to the gym. I'd lift heavy weights. I'd do really hard. Like I'd feel like I lost a fist fight when I left the gym. Workouts are like 2 hours long, which I don't recommend that. It was way too long. And I would listen to angry music and I would just get like amped. Like I get angry. Like I'm just ready to punch some stranger in the forehead for no reason, because I was listening to stuff that made my mood angry, tense, high strung, high emotion, want to hurt somebody. Like that's the kind of music that I was listening to. So I want you to ask yourself, with my media, with my videos, my news feed, my music, my articles that I read, like whatever that is this making me feel better overall? Is it making me feel happy, angry, sad, optimistic, pessimistic? Is it making me depressed? Is it making me want to think about, oh man, those were good times? Like there's a lot of songs, and I actually used to do this. I would get in the car before I understood my mind. I would get in the car and I would put on certain songs that made me think of people that were no longer in my life. And I just drive down the road like, oh, those were such good times. Like, what the heck, dude? I had no clue. I had no clue anything about success. Hadn't read hundreds of books, hadn't listened to literally thousands of hours of audios, hadn't attended seminars on like hadn't done any of this stuff, had no mentors. Like I was just like, you know what? Like I'm feeling a little gloomy. I'm just going to take myself all the way down on the valley. Let's do it right now. Like that's just where I was. So ask yourself, is this making me feel better or worse? Happy, sad, angry? Like how is this making me feel? Lastly, simple question, am I going upstream or downstream? Am I getting closer or further away from the things that I want? Last thing here, let's look at our thoughts. And just so you understand this, when I say that I was fanatical and that I am getting back to being absolutely hardcore fanatical about this, here's what I mean. I listen to specific things not like informational, like the same sentence said over and over and over again, or the same track that is feeding the winner in me, might be affirmations of a goal, and it's not like the stuff you find on YouTube, like, I am powerful. The universe gives me everything I need. Like, it's not weird, like, wow, what's wrong with him? Like, it's not weird, wacky stuff like that. But I will listen to stuff every single night when I fall asleep. And I've literally, like, I've gone into editing software and I've looped this stuff together. So it's literally 3, 4, 5 hours long. So it's going all night long. And there's things that I listen to right when I wake up. And there's things that I listen to, if I have downtime. There's stuff that I listen to while I'm showering. There's stuff that I'm listening to while I'm driving down the road. I'm always listening to content that's moving me forward. It's moving me forward in my health. It's moving me forward in my relationships and my parenting. It's moving me forward in my Christian walk with God. It's moving me forward in my finances. It's moving me forward in my understanding of the sales process and my understanding of how to communicate with people. It's moving me forward in the areas of my goals and in belief and confidence. It's moving me forward. It's feeding the winner. And I'm so fanatical about this. I literally bought, you can go on Amazon, look these up. I bought this thing that you can wear. I don't even know what it's called. It's basically like a headband. Like if you could picture like a 3-inch wide headband, goes over your forehead, wraps around kind of the back of your head, covers your ears. It's a Bluetooth. I have no clue how it's going to work. It's coming in tomorrow actually, and I'm like geeked out of my mind to try it. So it's just like almost like a large sweatband, but you can wear it, outside. I could wear it skiing. It's made for sleep and working out and stuff. I'm going to wear it sleeping. It's got a 10-hour battery life. I'm going to put that thing on my head every night. And I've tried headphones. I've tried all kinds of different stuff. Sometimes I just lay my phone next to my ear and put it on airplane mode, just play something that's been downloaded onto my phone. Do not disturb, obviously. Don't want to get, woke up, someone texts me at 3 a.m., which hopefully no one ever thinks that's a good idea. But I'll wear this thing to bed when it comes in. I'll wear it to bed and I will put that directly in my ear so I'm not keeping my wife up. And I'll put it just low enough that I can hear it. I can barely hear it. And that's going into my brain all night. Because your subconscious brain records everything it ever sees, hears, takes in everything. There was a person that they were doing surgery on one time, and this is talked about in Dr. Maxwell Malt's book, Psycho-Cybernetics. And it was either a woman or a man having surgery done on his or her brain, and the doctor touched a certain portion of the brain, and this person began to relive in vivid detail, like I'm talking everything, like sights, sounds, smells, began to relive as if they were watching it on a movie theater screen, this memory. Because the doctor touched this certain area and the brain had stored in that exact area this specific memory. Your brain, and I have no clue how God designed it this way, how it can take in this much content. I've heard it said that when an old person dies, it's like a library gets burned down because the wealth of information, knowledge, memories, everything that was in there, the life experiences are gone because you can never capture everything that was in there. You can't download someone's brain. Even if you watch The Matrix and you're like, oh, I think it's possible. Like, sorry, it's not. But everything in this person's brain, like it's been stored. Doctor touched a certain spot. Woman or man begins to relive, like in vivid detail, every single thing you can think about this. And again, what did Jack Canfield say beginning of the episode? You only have control over 3 things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take. So we're talking about the thoughts you think and the images you visualize. All of that, go back and listen to episode 1, determines the actions you take. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So lastly, repetitive thought life. What does this look like? Does it build you up? If I talk to you the way that you talk to you, would you punch me in the nose or would you thank me? Would you be like, man, I feel so much better when I'm around you? Or would you punch me in the face and be like, if you ever talk to me like that again, like, which one of those two would it be? Does it build you up? Or does it tear you down? Are you directing your thought life or is it directing you? Ooh. Man, read that again. Are you directing your thought life or is it directing you? Next, do you spend more time listening to yourself or talking to yourself? I don't talk to myself, Jesse, that's nuts. Only crazy people talk to themselves. Well, whether you said that out loud or in your head, you're talking to yourself right now. Guess what? Before I outline these episodes, I talk to myself. I'm like, all right, what should the next thing? Okay, the next thing should be, that's talking to yourself. So do you spend more time listening to yourself? In other words, playing the same old thoughts over and over and over and over and over again, the old wine, so to speak? Do I keep replaying those over and over and over and over and over again, hoping for a new result? I'm going to feed the winner in me. I'm going to listen to all this positive content, read these books, and hang out with these people and get motivated and watch this video. And I'm going to do everything I can to move myself forward. And I'm going to wake up at the crack of dawn and I'm going to go work out. And I'm going to do all this positive stuff. And then your thoughts internally are like, you're a loser. You'll never make it. There's no way you can. Like, and I get so fanatical about this stuff. Like, I don't even like to say that. I don't even want to hear it. Like if people get super negative with me, I will politely just completely cut them off. Like I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like I'm not going to listen to that. And I've done that to people because I don't need to hear that. If they want to tell me why something's impossible, man, go sell that garbage to someone else. I'm looking for reasons that it is possible. I'm not looking for the opinion of someone who's never done anything with their life to tell me that I can't do anything with mine. Like you're an expert on what doesn't work. I don't need to talk to you about this specific thing. You might have wisdom for me in some other area. I'm not discrediting the person as a whole. I'm just not going to take advice from someone who does not have fruit in the tree in the area that I want. Do you spend more time listening to yourself than you do talking to yourself? Next question. Do your thought patterns revolve around truths or emotions and facts, quote unquote, the way things are? Do they revolve around truth? If you were to write that statement down and really think it through, the thing that's running through your head all the time, is that true? Not like, oh, well, based on this and that, I guess it could be true. And it feels like, I'm not asking if it feels true. Truthiness. I think that was a word that came out in 2020. Truthiness, man, it feels and sounds true. I'm not asking if it feels and sounds true. Like, are you basing it on absolute truth? Is this true of me? Or are you running based on emotions and facts of, quote, just the way things are? Because if the dream is big enough, facts don't count and they will change. Are the thoughts you think, last question, are the thoughts you think most regularly empowering you? Are they telling a positive story, one of a victor, someone who's victorious? Or are they disempowering? Do they take away from you? Are they negative? And are they creating the mentality of a powerless victim? Stuff you got to think about. Again, does it move me forward or does it move me backwards? Does it push me forward or pull me back? Is this something that is going to add to me winning? Am I feeding the right thing? Look at the people you hang out with, the things you ingest, and the thoughts you think. The people you hang out with, the things you ingest, and the thoughts you think. Your life will be exactly the same right now and 5 years from now, unless you change the thoughts you think, the people you associate with, the stuff you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and the actions that you make, the choices you make, the actions you take based off of that content, because you will go somewhere. And as the Cheshire Cat told Alice in Wonderland in the exchange in the movie, when she was at the fork in the road, she said, "Which road do I take?" Cheshire Cat responded, "Where do you want to go?" She said, "I don't know." He said, "Then it doesn't matter." It doesn't really matter what you do with your media, with your association, with your thought life, if you don't care or don't know where you want to go. But if you know where you want to go, it matters greatly. And you need to feed one and starve the other. Feed the winner, starve the loser.